Hello and welcome back, everybody, to this week's edition of Late Night Reds. I'm Skylar Webker. He's Ben Brown, and Ben, we have made it to the All-Star break.
Yeah, not as much of a limp, but we're there. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It wasn't the best week of them all, but also wasn't the worst. They still came out above 500 on the week.
Hmm.
But hey, they've made it to 50 wins by the All-Star break. They're currently 2.5 games out from the wild card. They're tied with the Cardinals for third in the division. And, I'm feeling good, feeling all right. I think we have a lot of things to cover kind of with the team this week, as well as kind of some things we didn't like, but mainly getting around the league now that we're at the All-Star break. A lot of teams are kind of officially closing up shop.
Hmm.
So we got a few scenarios floating out there, a lot of reporters connecting the Reds to certain players, but let's kick off with this week, because I think one of the biggest bright sides this week was getting Noelvi Marte back, and not only just back in the lineup, but back in still productive, still getting it done, still having a big bump in that bottom part of the lineup.
Yeah, having him back was huge. I know we talked about the lack of power in that lineup, and he was able to provide a little bit of that, to provide a little bit of pop. Um, the fielding thing, some of those things he was a little rusty on. He overthrew a play at home, and he had a couple of bad throws, but he also made some really good plays. But I think that's all with getting back on the field and timing and all that other stuff. So I will definitely take what he's doing at the plate, and we can deal with the fielding stuff as it comes. But at the plate wise, the pop that he's providing and that spark kind of towards, I think he batted eighth or ninth, I think throughout, and the spark he's providing at the bottom of that lineup is much needed.
Yeah, I accumulated some of the stats. He's only played 27 games this year, part because of the very lengthy IL stint. Also didn't get called up until probably a month or two after the start of the season. But so through 27 games, he's amassed one WAR, which is pretty impressive for a batter in 27 games, and a 141 OPS plus. So he's getting it done. I mean, small sample size, sure, but this is kind of the Noelvi Marte we expected to see, wanted to see, especially after the horrible PED suspension last year that he never seemed to kind of get his feet back under him from.
Yeah, it's nice to see the way he's kind of bounced back. But the good thing about it is that this is what we've needed. Like we need that. We need a guy at the bottom of that lineup. But we need a guy that's got some pop. We need a guy that can hit the ball over the wall and provide that, just a quality at bat at the end of that lineup. So on those ends and on those aspects, it's been great, for him to be back there. And once again, it's getting guys back that'll make our lineup a little more consistent, and make our lineup, where we can pencil guys in every day, where we start to get that consistency of who's going to be on the field every day, who's going to be in our lineup every day. And it makes it a lot more consistent than what it has been that first half of the year.
Yeah, especially at third base, which seems to have been a absolute revolving door since Gino left.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of been a who's who, of who could fill that spot, and if he can fill it for the rest of the year and stay healthy, then it only adds to that, the cohesiveness and the continuity that we can build going into this last half of the season.
And I know these are MLB players and this, that, and the other, but knowing that they have a consistent defensive position on the field definitely helps these guys, because we're seeing it with Spencer Steer getting I am the first baseman.
Yeah,
He's come around and looking fantastic, making gold glove plays out there.
yeah. It definitely makes you a lot more comfortable when you know you're the guy in that spot every day in, day out. Like you said, you've seen that with Spencer Steer. You see that with Friedel. Knowing he's the center fielder every day and doing what he's doing. Um, you know, De La Cruz and McLean, they're of course they're so cohesive there anyway. But knowing that those four guys are all going to be the same four guys that are going to be able to work together and do things on a day in day out basis, it makes it that much more reliable and dependable day in day out when you have those same guys there.
No doubt. And we can kind of get to the pitching side because, man, Chase Burns continues to excite. I mean, this guy
Mm-hmm.
looks like a major league pitcher on that mound.
Yeah. I think we mentioned this last week with him and that really bad start that he had. It's very rare that you're able to see a guy come in, have the start that he did, have a second start that he did, but then make adjustments, make changes, do things differently. And he didn't really change his style and he didn't really change his attitude, but you can definitely tell like his location is getting better. His pitch selection is getting better. He's using different pitches in different spots that he wasn't really comfortable with in some of those starts. You can see that he's starting to use some different pitches in different spots and not just relying on the fastball all the time, every time. So it's cool to see him being able to put some things together and start to build on a like major league level pitching count and a pitching curriculum that he has. So it's really cool to see him build that up and do the things that he's able to do start after start, and every start has gotten better and better.
Yeah, and I think the Reds are kind of doing him some favors and some service because they're reshuffling their pitching rotation coming out of the break, and he'll be kind of the fifth man on that rotation just to give him extra time, let him get stretched out so that he can keep ramping up on his inning count and pitch count. So I think like that, just a small move like that will help kind of take the governor off of him and allow him to really, really start flourishing. And man, I'll tell you what, this rotation looks mighty scary once Hunter Green comes back.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're missing your ace still. I mean, and once you were able to add him to that rotation, I mean, it's something where you've already got an all-star guy in Abbott, and let's not get Lodolo lost in this either. I mean, Lodolo leads our teams in quality starts. I mean, it's and you don't think about that because because of some of the outings that he's had, but he leads our team in quality starts. He's got a sub-3 ERA. He's still doing those things that you're asking him to do, and he's getting better and better start per start. Every start he's had after, I forget which series, but every start he's had, he's been better and better. So you add those guys together, and if Lodolo starts to get hot, you add a Hunter Green, then you're looking at a pretty good 5-man rotation of pitchers that you're going to have to battle day in and day out.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's probably Nick Martinez who bounces to the pen just because he's career been a swing guy, but even he's putting in good quality starts. He's second on the team in quality starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, and that's with having an all-star in your rotation. So I mean, the two guys that aren't all-stars lead your team in quality starts. You have an all-star, you have a guy like Chase Burns, and then hopefully the Hunter Green thing gets situated and he gets healthy, and then you're rolling pretty good. That's a pretty good 5 if you're looking at trying to get something started and making a run at it, going in series after series with those 5 as your pitchers.
No doubt. So I hope they make it in, and I hope we see kind of that maturation. And speaking of maturation, I think Ellie just continues his rocket ship to superstardom. I mean, I have some numbers for you. So the whole thing, we've seen it all year. People trying to flip him around to get him to bat right-handed. He's actually raised his batting average versus left-handed pitchers by 10 points. He's raised his slug by 30 points. He's raised his OPS by 4 points on the OPS, but he's no longer kind of an automatic out versus lefties and even righties. I mean, his right-handed pitching batting average this year is a 308,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I mean, he's up 28 points from last year on that. His OPS is almost a 400. His slug is over a 500. His OPS is a 942 just on right-handed batting this year. Currently, he is the 14th best batting average in the National League. If it was just his right versus right or left-handed pitching, or if it was just versus right-handed pitching, he would be second in the National League in batting average.
Yeah, it's cool to see him and his maturation at the plate. And what he's able to do and what he's able to accomplish. He's not just it's not like you said, it's not where he can just flip him around anymore, where he's not going to be competitive at the plate. And it's the at bats that you're noticing. It's being patient at the plate. It's picking your pitches. It's doing those things that make you a good hitter, quality hitter. You know, at bat after at bat after at bat. Like he is just doing some of those things that have been so super special, as far as like not with swinging. I mean, his swing rate is down. His swing and miss rate is down. All these different things that he's been able to do and to improve what he's been able to do all year long is getting better. His contact is better. All these different things are making him that much better. And it's like you said, it's not only just from the right side. Like you try to flip him around, and he's still starting to hit the ball better from the left side. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see him be competitive and have competitive at bats. But that comes with having good guys in your lineup, right? Like you got Matt McClain who's hitting the ball better. Friedel is still hitting the ball well. You added Austin Hayes. Now, you get Noel V. Marte back. So it's all these different guys in the lineup that you're starting to add to this lineup, to where you can't just turn Ellie around, or you can't just feel like you can pitch around him or do whatever, because there's other guys in that lineup that are able to get hits and do things. And that's not even mentioning Spencer Steer, who's been freaking incredible. I mean, he was player of the week 2 weeks ago, but he's still hitting the ball really well, and he got the rally started yesterday. So it's like there's so many different guys in this lineup that are able to do different things that it's only benefiting LA, because he's seeing better pitches, because the guys around him are hitting the ball better.
Yeah, and to the point where, not only is he just taking better at bats, both left-handed, right-handed, he has significantly cut his strike rate out down. I mean, he's currently, we always hear it's always, his strikeouts. He strikes out too much. He is 28th this year in strikeouts. That is behind Ohtani, Randy Arozarena, Christian Yelich, Aaron Judge, Willie Adames, and Eugenio Suarez. So power hitters, contact hitters, all over the field hitters. He is below all of them in strikeouts. So,
That's
I mean, he's just getting better and better and better, and well-deserved all-star, should be a starter. And just I can't say enough good things about Ellie. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Like he's just been so good.
It's so good, and so he had a great series, to the point where Colorado had to intentionally walk him 3 times. He's the first player since Barry Bonds to have a triple and 3 intentional walks in the same game.
Which is that's crazy to think about. I mean, because he's starting to become that guy, right? Like, and we talked about this. Like, we don't want him to be our power guy. We want the Reds to go out and get a power guy. But right now, he's that dude. Like, he's the guy that can hit for power. He's the guy that can hit for average. He's the guy that's going to steal bases. And that's what you get from your all-star. That's what you get from a superstar. But it's starting, like I said, it's starting to become to where everybody in that lineup is starting to hit the ball better, where it's only going to improve his average and the pitches he's going to see. Or you're going to put him on base and risk him stealing bases and wreaking havoc on the base pads.
Yeah. It's so good to have that guy as a Red. I can't wait to see the rest of his career as a Red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see about that. Probably take new owners to get that done, but
Let's hope, man. Let's hope. A boy can dream.
for real. Talking about a boy's boyhood dream, Tito gets his 202,000th career win today. Incredible milestone. Only
Mm-hmm.
the second in active managers, the 13th manager to ever have this honor, just further stamping his ticket into Cooperstown. Um, just Tito's
Yeah,
doing it right.
yeah, man. It's I tell you what, it's the little things that you notice with him. You know what I mean? Like it's the way he's connected with these players, the way that he doesn't panic. You know what I mean? When we lose 4 games in a row, he does. There's no panic. There's no, you know, there's a sense of calm when he's around. Like it's really cool to have a guy that's able to be connected to his players and figure things out and not have complete chaos and different things that are going on. And it's cool to see the respect they have for him. So like yesterday, Will Benson is the hero, which was awesome. I mean, that was incredible. But they asked Tito about it, and he's like, "Yeah, he hits the ball, but he stood at the plate a little bit too long for my liking, and that'll never happen again." And that's the accountability that you're missing. Yeah, Will Benson did a great thing, and he put a great swing on a ball, but it's the little things of, listen, we don't stand there and watch stuff. When we got an opportunity to go win a game, we don't stand there and watch a ball. Like we go, we run the bases. And fortunately enough, he got the third, was a triple, everything was good. But it's those little nuances and things that he's in, that he notices and he says things about, and I think those guys like that accountability. Like that's like when you're a professional athlete, like you like a guy that's going to hold you accountable for all the things you do. So it's those things that are making him a great manager, and that's why he's got 2,000 wins, man. Like those are the intangibles that you get when you hire a guy like Tito to run your ball club.
Yeah, and look, that's what this team needs because there really isn't. There's not a whole lot of champions. There's no champions on this team. There's not a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Gavin Lux is a champion, but there's not a ton of champions. There's not a ton of playoff experience. These are all young, impressionable guys. And, that's why we saw the Candy thing not work out when he didn't take getting benched too well.
Yep.
It's Tito wants these positive role model esque players in the locker room, and he's one of them. I would say he's one of the key role models for these guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's what makes him him, right? I mean, a guy like that doesn't have success where he's gone between Boston and Cleveland and now Cincinnati. You don't have the success you have without holding guys accountable and being a guy that, yeah, put it on me. Look how I do it. Look how I handle things. This is how we're going to do it. This is how a professional baseball team is supposed to be ran. And you can see that. You can see how he handles things in certain situations where it's just different. It's different than anything really we've seen in a long time here at Cincinnati.
No doubt. So we can get into kind of the not so great things that we saw this week. I mean, hey, we had a series against Miami, whose record is well below 500, playing good ball, but well below 500, and the Rockies, who are the worst team in the league this year. And we saw, none of them were really impressing wins. We had ninth inning heroics. We had tight ball games. Not really what you would expect from a Reds offense that is humming and we're going pretty well. You'd expect more convincing wins than what we saw, a split with the Fish and a one game, or you take the series in a series you probably should have swept.
Yeah. And I think that's the gift and the curse of Cincinnati, right? Like it's you can't not be happy about winning a series because I mean it's still professional baseball and winning is hard. So you got to take that part of it, but it's like the expectation of being able to have your full lineup back, and have two teams that are coming into your home before the All-Star break, that you at least need to go 6-1. You know what I mean? Or seven. No, it was 4-3. So 6-1. 6-1 would have been great. You know, 5-2 would have been okay, but 4-3 feels like, man, like we just I feel like we let a couple games go there, and with
Ye-
expectations they only go 43, it feels like a C. No, it's not terrible, but it should have been an A or a B plus. So it's I'm never going to complain about winning baseball games because it's so hard to do. But I hoping that there's a sense of urgency coming out of the break to win those games that you're supposed to win. Not saying that you got to win them all, but win enough series and string enough series along against teams that you should beat all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's you led into it. That's like the Cincinnati MO is they'll go and sweep the Dodgers, sweep the Yankees, and then like flounder against Miami or get swept by the
Yep.
Pirates. It's like, can you guys just be the middle of that?
Yep.
Like win the games you're supposed to, be competitive in these other games, not
Yeah.
so polarizing between both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. No, it's super difficult, man, because it's like I think it's because we see glimpses of how good they can be, and it's just got to be that way all the time. Like you said, like we can go sweep the Yankees 3-4 from the Dodgers, and then turn around and lay an egg at home, mind you. And be and have a losing homestand. You're like that consistency is not there. But overall though, like I said, I'm not going to complain about when we win a series. I'm not going to complain about being over 500 at the All-Star break or being over 500 going into the All-Star break in a series. So I don't want to be overly negative because those are two positive things. Being over 500 at the All-Star break is very good.
Yeah, I mean it's good for what we've seen lately. I mean, as Reds fans, how many
Right.
years have we been like, if we could just be 500 by the All Star break? And now we're talking about like we should be way more than 500, which is a good. That's progress. We're moving in the right direction.
Hmm.
Um, the one piece I didn't love in this, especially this Colorado series, was the Austin Hayes just really not being able to get anything done at the plate. He came back and fixed that in games 2 and 3. But that first game, man, where they intentionally walked Ellie 3 times, they said, nope, we're not
Hmm.
going to let Ellie beat us. We'll get it down to Austin Hayes and just 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Like,
Hmm.
you got to do better. If Colorado is pitching around Ellie to get to you, what are other teams in the league gonna do? What are playoff teams in a series gonna do?
Yeah. No, like we talked about before, man. Like that's where you've got to make a move and get LA some protection. Um, and that's nothing against Austin Hayes because I like Austin Hayes. I think he's for what we needed him for. He's done a bang up job. I'm not,
Agreed.
but you got to have a guy there, man, that can protect your star, and make people pay for walking unfortunately that day it just wasn't Austin Hayes. So I'm hoping that they, and I know we'll talk about this later on, but I'm hoping that they figure that out and say, okay, we're 50 and 47 at the All-Star break. We're 3 games above 500, and we're right there in the wild card. Let's make a move let's gonna make a move that's gonna make an impact, so that we can make a run at this thing. So and we can protect our star. So I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm also hoping that's what happens. So we can kind of get into the around the league kind of speculation pieces. First thing is that tonight is the first round of the MLB draft. The Reds select Steele Hall, which is a great baseball name,
That is a freaking
uh,
phenomenal baseball name.
with the ninth
Absolutely.
pick. High school shortstop, not a big power hitter, um, a more of a contact and speed guy. They said that the player comp is Trey Turner, which, hey, if he turns out to be Trey
Jeez.
Turner, great.
Yeah.
But the second youngest player in the draft. So we're probably not going to see him anytime soon. He
No.
reclassified so that he could graduate early, and he got drafted at 17 years old. So we're not going to see him for like a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, and speaking about this even last week, like I don't know, man. Like it's there's a difference for me when a kid's coming out of high school and he can have all the tools. I mean, and I'm not knocking the kid, Steele Hall. I mean, I haven't seen much about him, but I mean, besides the fact of what I saw with the draft stuff. But and it's nothing personal. But I'm like, man, it's really hard to go from being a 17-year-old high school kid to now being if you choose, being a professional athlete. Like that's you know, being a top 10 pick, being a professional athlete as a high school kid is really, really difficult. Um, so, I don't foresee us seeing him unless he has some kind of like historic, Paul Skeen, Ken Griffey Jr. type meteoric rise. You're probably not going to see him within the next 3 to 5 years. So, you know, I, you know, I'm personally am more of a fan of taking guys out of college, but they must have seen something in this kid to where he fits what they're looking for, and he is 17, so hopefully he doesn't have a whole lot of bad habits that you got to fix, and you can make him the way you want him and mold him the way you want him, and have him ready to play here within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you're right. He's younger, so don't have to undo a lot of bad habits and stuff like that. Just I'm with you. I'd rather a guy a little more polished can work his way through a minor league system a little quicker,
Hmm.
than because it's a grind. Minor league ball is an absolute grind. You're on buses and you're going from place to place. You're the first professional kind of leagues, staying in hotel rooms, probably motel rooms at that. It's hard. It's very, very hard. So we'll see. I hope the best for him. But he kind of fits that Reds game plan. Shortstop, that's Toolsy, and that's who the Reds love to draft. Toolsy
Yep.
shortstops.
Yep. Absolutely. That's their MO, man. Like that's right up their alley.
That's all they draft.
Oh man.
So outside of that, a lot as we kind of close out the first half of the season, a lot of teams are kind of officially opening up for shop. It came out that the Diamondbacks are opening up for shop, which is Gino and Naylor, Merrill Kelly, a lot of other Zach Gallen, a lot of pitchers that they're shopping out. The Twins have opened up shop. The Braves have opened up shop. The Guardians have opened up shop. So there are a lot of players kind of, I mean, in all of those organizations, I'll take a ton of the players.
Hmm.
But the one that the Reds have been, I don't want to say linked to, but ESPN or beat writers' speculation is that the Reds have been linked to Byron Buxton, which they would pay an astronomical haul to get him. Every article says that. But I would do that deal every day that ends in Y and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and it goes back to what we've talked about before. Um, we need outfielders. We need outfield depth. Stop me if you've heard this before. We need somebody in the lineup that provides some pop. We need somebody that's consistent, can be consistent in the outfield. Um, you know, and I'm not. I don't care what it costs us. I don't care about prospects. I don't care about. I don't. I just don't. Um, when we can get a guy like a Buxton that can help us win now, and put him in a lineup with the Ellie De La Cruz and a Matt McClain, a Spencer Steer, and a Noelvi Marte, like he changes the dynamic of your lineup. He changes the dynamic of your lineup. I mean, he hits for power, he hits for average, he gets on base, he can steal bases. Um, he does all those things that's only going to make you better. Like now, immediately,
Mm-hmm.
he makes you better immediately. So not only at the plate but in the field. So you go Hayes, Friedel, Buxton, or Hayes, Buxton, or however you want to do it. But you have another, Will Benson, Buxton, Friedel. I don't care, but at least you have another guy in that outfield that knows what he's doing and plays a tremendous outfield. Is a great defensive outfielder. So, I don't, I've seen those rumors and I've seen the things like we can't get hung up on prospects. I don't want to hear about prospects. I don't want to hear about we need to save these guys. We need to do this. We need to do no. We got a guy if they're interested and we got a guy that they want to trade that we can go ahead and make that move, and that's what we need to do. If it's Byron Buxton, dude, I like it would really make me excited if they do that because he's been a guy that I've seen and kind of watched this year that's been, he's been really really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think he moves the needle tremendously for this team, and for all the reasons that you said, excellent in the outfield, a great bat in the lineup. It protects your stars in the lineup that you have. He's under team control through 2028. Love all of these things. The one thing that people have been like, oh, he never plays. He's hurt all the time. He's played more than TJ Friedel in the past 2 years, and we all love TJ Friedel.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Friedel has put up 2.6 WAR in the past 2 years. Byron Buxton has put up 7.6 in the past 2 years. So, sure, with anybody you take on, there's injury risk. There was injury risk with Austin Hayes when we took him on. Granted, we had for pennies, but that's the point we're trying to get at is that spend the prospects, take a risk, take a swing. You get a guy that's has that high value, just like what the Cubs did for Kyle Tucker. They paid astronomical in prospects, and they're about to pay astronomical to keep him in free agency. But they took the big swing, and look, they are one off from the best team in the NL this year. They're one game behind the Dodgers for the best team in the National League.
Yep. Yeah. It's to me, he's well worth the risk. And the opportunity to get a guy like that who's an all-star, to get a guy like that into your lineup, it makes you better immediately. It makes you a contender immediately. It lets other teams know how serious you are about winning baseball games, and it lets other players know how serious you are about winning baseball games, and they'll want to come play for you. So if you're willing to make a move like that, then people will understand that the Cincinnati Reds are serious about winning baseball games. Because making a move like that, and you're saying, okay, we're not going to fall in love with this hoarding prospects thing anymore. We're not going to fall in love with we got to keep all these guys under our and develop. And no. We're trying to win, man. We're trying to win now. So let's make a move, put a package together, go get that guy. Listen, the one thing that I've learned is that if things are rumored, then things have been said. So if it's been rumored, then somebody in somebody's boardroom somewhere has mentioned it, and it's floating out there somewhere. All they're waiting for is for somebody.
Fire.
Right. All they're waiting for is for somebody to put the right prospects together, put the right money together, put whatever thing they're trying to do to put it together in order to make it work. So if they're linking it, like those guys don't link things if they haven't really heard something. So something's got to be there. Go ahead and make that move and make us better.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other person that the Reds have kind of been linked to was Stephen Kwan from the Guardians. I don't know if the Guardians let go of a guy that early.
Yeah.
We'll see what they end up doing because outside of Jose Ramirez, that's their only guy. So he is putting up a 2.8 WAR this season under club control for till 2028. So similar as Buxton, probably wouldn't cost you as high of a price tag as Buxton, but I don't think he moves the needle quite as much, and kind of gives you the exact same thing that you get with TJ Friedel, a left-handed hitter that's decent. He's a Gold Glover out in the outfield. I'll give him that. But left-handed hitter who's meant to get on base. That's Stephen Kwan.
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't complain about it, but I don't think that, like you said, I don't think that's a needle moving move. And I don't think that it's something where I'm not sure if that's something where you get extremely better like a Byron Buxton. And a Byron Buxton can flip the whole aspect of the Central. You know what I mean? Like, you get a guy like that, he can flip the landscape. Like, that's a landscape guy. Stephen Kwan is a guy. Yeah, he's a good athlete and a good player, and he'll make your outfield a little better defensively and things like that. But he's not a needle mover. A guy like Byron Buxton would move the needle.
Yeah. So for reference, the Twins are 4 games out from the wild card. They're currently 2 games under 500. And Cleveland kind of right there on the tails, 3 games under, 4.5 games out. So listen, I mean, give the Reds credit in what they are. I mean, they are 8 games away from the best team in the league, the Dodgers. They're at 58 wins. The Reds are at 50 wins. They're 28 games from the bottom team in the league. Now, granted, it's the Rockies. It's a huge swing. I got it. But the NL, especially, right around that 50 game mark, like they're in the kind of upper echelon of teams. With that being said, put them in the AL, they're even better. So the NL is a lot stronger this year than I think most of us would have probably assumed. I think a lot of people would have said the AL would have been stronger this year.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. It was definitely unexpected, but no, I definitely agree with that assessment for sure.
Yeah, because if you put them in the AL Central, they would be second behind the Tigers. And pretty much for every division in the AL besides the AL East. So,
which is crazy.
It is very crazy, and I think that's when this next month is super important, when you have to win games against your well, first off your division, but against your league, but win games against your division. That's what's separating you from the Cubs right now, who have the second best record in the league.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the game changer. I mean, that's the game changer, is not being able to produce against the teams that you're supposed to be able to produce against in your division. Like, that's the difference. I mean, and I don't know how, I can't, of course, off the top of my head, know how many games we played against the Cubs and the Cardinals, but if you win 4 more of those games than you lost, then you're sitting right in a good position, not only in the wild card, but in the Central. So, I mean, that's
you're
just
a playoff
4
team.
games.
That's
I mean, and you're a playoff team. So it's like, you've got to be able to win those games. And you're looking at the prospect of getting Hunter Green back. If you make a move for Buxton, I mean, it really puts you in a really good spot to be able to make a run at it. I mean, your pitching rotation will be good. You got relievers back. You know what I mean? We got Graham Ashcraft back. Sam Mola's looked halfway decent. So your starters, you get your pitching back, and then you add a guy like that, then you look like a legit contender to win the Central or a wild card spot. But you got to be willing to make the moves.
Would you? I mean, I don't know. You could definitely give him CES back because he got optioned to AAA, and I think CES is going to have a hard time finding a spot on this roster because the DH is taken between Tyler Stevenson and Jose Trevino because both of them have been producing. Spencer Steer has been locked down at first. So he's been producing,
Yep.
and you have Noefi Marte and Espinal kind of taking the tandem there at third. So if you're CES, you don't really have a spot on this team right now.
Yeah. No, I think CES. I think Chase Petty. I think. I mean, I think there's not too many guys that I wouldn't touch. I mean, Chase Burns I wouldn't touch, but there's not too many prospects I wouldn't touch that would give me an opportunity to win baseball games. Now, there's not too many of those guys that I wouldn't make a move for. CES would. I think CES is maybe looking for a different spot to be able to be in the everyday third baseman, and do, and get an opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, it could be a win-win for both.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that the Twins could add on their major league roster, wouldn't have to wait on. And then, yeah, I'll throw in Sal Stewart. I'll throw in whoever you want. Not Chase Burns. He's on the major league roster.
I was going to say, yeah, Chase Burns is not on the list. Nope. But
whoever you want. Name. I don't care. I don't care. And I think that's what I would tell. Now, I don't think you can say that to the Twins because you lose leverage in negotiations or whatever. You can't just say take your pick because they'll just be like, we want your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5. And you're
right.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, not saying all that, but
no doubt. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I know Joey Gaditza had in here like any likelihood of him making a move during the break. Probably not. Just the way that this team operates and the sport operates. Most of the deal is just wait until the day.
The day. What's the date deadline? What is that? It's
the 31st. So the end of this month.
31st, right?
Yep. We already did the draft.
I'll be interested to see when it starts to come down to it, which is weird because, like, I mean, the season is split up so weird because, I mean, we've already played 97 games of 162, so it's like
we're halfway.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the halfway mark, and we played 97 games already. So, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Yeah, I think it would. I think they'll wait until the last, like you said, day or so before they do anything, because I think that's when. And two, I think it gives teams an opportunity after the All-Star break to see, are we really going to be a contender, or we're 2 weeks away from the All-Star break and we're still losing and we're not very good. So yeah, we need to go ahead and do what we need to do to go ahead and get prospects or make a move or whatever. So, because you'll know by then, by the end of July going into August, you'll know. I mean, it's very rare that. I mean, it happens, of course, but teams getting hot in August and September, it happens. But like, if you're bad, you're going to be continually bad. I mean, it's not something where you're like, oh, well, now we're really good now all of a sudden. Like, nah, that's, what I mean? The Rockies are not going to turn it on in August. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's just not.
If the Rockies make a playoff spot.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Rockies make a playoff spot, I'll have to reevaluate this and figure out if I really know baseball or not. But it's I think teams will know by then what they want to do and how they want to proceed, and I just hope that the Reds understand that the opportunity that they have. And I think we've mentioned it time and time again, you're only going to have a certain window to show Ellie that you're serious about winning baseball games.
No doubt. And thankfully they get a break here coming out of the All-Star break against the Mets, who are just kind of continually on this skid. They have a good record, but as of late, they just can't seem to get anything done in the Nationals. So you come out with two, I would say, winnable series before, Tampa Bay, who's always frisky, the Dodgers, which the Reds will just somehow find a way to sweep them.
They will. They'll sweep them. They'll sweep them and beat Shohei. You know what I mean? They're like,
exactly.
What's the big deal with Shohei Ohtani? What's the hype about?
And then they'll just go 0-for against the Braves. But by that time, the trade deadline will have happened, and they'll hopefully have made a move. We'll see. Yeah. I have 50-50 faith that this team will do anything.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like I said, I think I preface everything by, man, I hope that I hope they want to win, but the history of this franchise says, like they're okay with just being okay.
Wow, I think I agree with you in that. I think the only difference in it this year that's giving me hope is they have Terry Francona and
Yes.
they have
Yep.
seen that Ellie is legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I
should be
think
enough.
yeah. I'm hoping that Terry Francona steps in and is like, okay, let's do something that's going to make this team a winner and push the needle a little bit.
No doubt.
So
So yeah, that's kind of what's coming up is enjoying the All-Star break. I love the All-Star game. It's the best All-Star game in sports. I
mm-hmm.
love the home run derby.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be back on the 20th after the series for the Mets. We'll recap anything through there. We'll talk about any of the speculation and news that we're hearing. If you guys plan on going down to the plan on going down to Great American Ballpark, please use our code Riverfront and get $20 off your first purchase through SeatGeek. We encourage everybody to join our ever-growing family of Cincinnati sports fans by supporting our Patreon. It's patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. You can also give us a like and subscribe on the YouTube channel to catch episodes not only from our show, but from Seth's show with the Riverfront Show and from Welcome to the Jungle. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and please go subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on any platform. We're on them all. And give us a rating and review over on iTunes and elsewhere. If you guys like us, tell us, tell a friend, tell us what you want us to talk about. We're just Cincinnati sports fans making a show for other Cincinnati sports fans. So for that, he's Ben Brown. I'm Skylar Webker. Go Reds.